Hey there, it's Nina Nandagopal at almostpractical.com, and today I want to show you how I create this sort of stylized opt-in box, and I have this inserted automatically into every post on my website. And I don't use any coding. I created the box entirely in Gutenberg, and I just kind of want to walk you through it, and in case you want to be able to do the same thing. So to be able to create the box, you'll need a few things. Of course, you'll need a self-hosted WordPress blog, and you will also need the Add Inserter plugin, and I have that pulled up right here. This is a free plugin. There's also a paid version, but for this purpose, you won't need the paid version, and I'm not going to walk you through how to install a plugin and all that kind of stuff. So you want to make sure that you install it and become a little bit familiar with how it works if you haven't used it before. But what Add Inserter does is that it allows you to paste a little piece of code into the Add Inserter plugin that will show up in different spots on your website. So you could, it's pretty powerful actually. You can insert elements beneath your header and near your footer and all over the place, but we're looking at inserting something inline in with your content. And again, there's no coding. You'll copy and paste some code, but that's about it. So you want the Add Inserter plugin, and there are other plugins that have the same functionality, but I'm not familiar with those. This is the one that I use. So you'll need a WordPress blog, and you'll need the Add Inserter plugin. You'll also need an image of your lead magnet, and I created mine in, I create all my blog graphics either in PicMonkey or in Canva. So you'll need to create your graphic for your lead magnet. So you'll also need an email service provider and either an embedded form, and a lot of email service providers allow you to, create forms inside their platform. I use ConvertKit, and the Claire form is a very basic form. It just has the name and the email fields and a button for signing up. In this particular box, I use Lead Pages to create this button. So when I click the button, then pop-up shows up. So I'm going to click out of there. So you don't need to have Lead Pages. You could actually create a button in Gutenberg if you want and link it up to a landing page, or if your email service provider has the capability for you to click on a link and have a pop-up open, you can certainly use that. Or you can just embed the form into this opt-in box. So those are the things you're going to need, and now I'm going to show you how to do it. So here we are in the back of my WordPress install, and what I've done is created a new page. And what you want to do is create a page, not a post, but a page. And this page is never going to be live on your site. It's always going to be a draft. We're just using it to build our block, and then we're going to copy the code and paste it into Add Inserter. So you can call it anything you want. We can just call it inline opt-in draft only, and then we can go ahead and create a new block. And you can create, what I usually do is I pull in a columns block. So I'll go here and I'll pull in the columns, and you can do half and half, or again, you can design this however you want to, but I'm going to do half and half, and I'm going to add an image, and I have a copy of that lead magnet here in my library. So we're going to pull that in. And then I'm going to, in the second column, add some text, a heading, get the free checklist, and then we can use the form below to sign up for my newsletter, or something like that. And then you can use a HTML block right below that. Let's see, whoops, I'm not going to the right page, insert after, and we can put a custom HTML block, and in here you can paste the code for your opt-in. And why don't I grab that for you? So I went to ConvertKit, I grabbed some code to put in an opt-in box here, and we can preview that. And so there it looks kind of like that. And you can then go in, and if you just go up to all the columns, so find the settings for all your columns, and you can go into these color settings, and you can choose the background color. So we can do a custom color, we can make it blue, and or we can go a little lighter with whatever color works with your site. So if you have your site colors, you can go ahead and plug those in. So we'll go with this blue, and then we can tweak it a little bit more if we want. Like in the column, you can do the spacing. So we can use these adjustments here to decide where you want to have your image show up, at the top, in the middle, or at the bottom. So I like to just put it in the middle, and basically that's it. You can put a little paragraph. Oops, hold on one second. Okay, interruptions aside. You can also change the color of your font, and right here in the color settings, you can make that, if you want that to be a lighter color. If your background is a darker color, you can do that. You can put another paragraph here below your HTML box if you want to put a little disclaimer with your privacy policy for your sign up. So you can get this Gutenberg block to look just like you want your opt-in to look. And once you have it all finalized, the next thing is to move the code into Add Inserter. So you would just go over here to these top 3 dots, the ones that are stacked up, and you click on that, and you want to go to the code editor. So, well, even before you do that, I would suggest that you save your draft and then go and to your code editor. And what you're going to have is the code for your Gutenberg block. And so you just highlight it all, whoops, and copy it. And then in a new tab, you want to go over to your Add Inserter. And if you have the settings for the Add Inserter, and you'll find them, it's sort of off your screen here, but in the settings, let me see if I move this window over a little bit. Here we go. So you'll see the settings, and then you want to go into Add Inserter, which is down here, and that brings you to this. And if you've never used it before, all of your numbers should be the darker shade. I already have some things in these different tabs, and I have nothing right now in tab 1. So what I'm going to do is paste that code right in here, and then I'm going to name it inline opt-in. And I'm just going to put video here because I'm doing this for your purposes, and this is actually my website. So I put that in, and then I'm going to list where I want this to show up, and I want it to show up on all my posts. And then I have to decide where I want that on my posts. And I'm going to move this window a little bit so that it comes into focus. And so right here it says insertion, and you can choose, again, this is probably off the screen, so I'm going to pull up my window a little bit higher here for you. And it brings a big drop down, and it says all kinds of different locations in your posts. So where I want it is I want to have it after a paragraph, and I can choose which paragraph I want it to show up after. So I'm just going to say paragraph. Usually I put it around after paragraph 7, because typically I have my introduction paragraph, and then I have a photo and a couple more paragraphs, and mine tend to be really short paragraphs. So I like to keep it, after paragraph 7 or 10 or somewhere around there. You might want to play around with the location depending on how you typically structure your blog posts. But for this purpose, I'm going to put it after paragraph. I'll put a little higher because I already have one in my in my website. So I'm going to put it at paragraph 4, and then I'm going to save these settings, and I'm going to quickly show you how it looks. So we're going to save, and then I'm going to go to my website, and I'm going to go to a post, any post, and here you'll see that funky blue box right here that we just put together, and you can see if I keep scrolling, here's my real box. But here is the one that we just created, and it's going to be on every blog post on my website. So what I'm going to do quickly is go back, and I'm going to disable this because I don't want it to show up on all my posts right now because I have my other box there already. So that is how it's done, and it's just a quick and easy way to get a box on all your posts without any coding. One other option that I just want to mention to you that I think I'm moving towards at this point is using the Cadence theme and the Cadence Pro theme, because they have, the Pro theme has something called hooks and elements. And so when you can create your box, and that would be a quote unquote element, and you can then hook that element into different locations on your website. So I can hook it after the 5th or 10th paragraph, just like the add inserter. So in this case, I wouldn't need add inserter. I could just use the Cadence theme, Cadence Pro theme, and build my opt-in box and just insert it that way. And the advantage of doing it that way is that if I make any changes to this element, they'll automatically flow through onto all my blog posts. Whereas the way we just did it here, if you go back into this, say you want to change the photo or you want to change your wording, you'll have to do what we just did and copy the code and move it over into add inserter so that the changes can show up everywhere. And don't forget to save it, otherwise add inserter won't update. And the other thing that I just want to mention, and you just saw me do it, I switched back from the code editor to the visual editor. If you forget to do that, when you open another post later on to write a new one or update an old one or a page, whatever the last editor you were in is the one that will show up. So if you left it in the code editor, you're going to open your new post, it's going to be in the code editor. So you just have to remember to go back up to the 3 dots at the top of the page and change it back to visual. So just a little something, especially if you're new to all of this. So anyway, I hope this tutorial helped. It's a little bit involved, it's a little bit advanced, but at least you don't have to code. So, and it should work. I can't guarantee that it's going to work with every WordPress theme out there. I'm not familiar with all of them. Right now I'm using the Farmhouse theme from Restored 316, and which is the child theme, and the Cadence Pro theme is the parent theme. So that's what I'm using. And I believe this will work on, if you're using Gutenberg, I feel like it will work on a lot of different themes, but I can't promise that it will work on all the different ones, like especially the ones that are more complicated, like Elementor. Is that a theme? I don't even know. Or Astra, or what else? There's an Divi. I just know that those are sort of page builder themes, so they might have their own thing. I have no idea. So anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it helped you out. My name is Nina Nandagopal. I blog at almostpractical.com, and I write about organizing productivity and the things I learn about blogging. Thanks so much for your time and joining me today.